This is a special program from the Anna News. I'm Konstantin Rostov, and today's special is about the Chinese position towards Moscow. On 1st of April, during a virtual summit between the EU and China, the representatives of Brussels demanded China to not make it easy for Russia to circumvent the sanctions and to not help Russia in military or financial matters. Today, the head of the European Affairs Committee of the Chinese Foreign Ministry, Wang Lutong, stated that Beijing doesn't bypass the sanctions imposed on Moscow on a purpose, but the sanctions should not affect the normal Chinese trade with Russia. Earlier, the EU officials stated that any Chinese help to Russia will put the Chinese relations with the biggest trading partners, the EU and the USA, in a danger. The EU officials said that the trade volume between China and the Western countries is much higher than between China and Russia. In response, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian stated at a briefing that each country has the right to pursue its own foreign policy on its own and should not force other countries to take sides and follow the principle of friend or foe. The Cold War mentality and the bloc struggle should be resisted, Zhao Lijian explained. As for the sanctions, the problem isn't about which country will help Russia to circumvent the sanctions, but in a matter that the normal trade between Russia and other countries, including China, has suffered some unneeded damage, Zhao Lijian stated, and urged all the parties to calm down and concentrate on pushing the peace talks rather than escalating the conflicts. On Friday, the presidents of the European Commission and the Council, Ursula von der Leyen and Charles Michel, spoke with the head of the Chinese government, Li Keqiang, and then with the president of China, Xi Jinping. After the meeting, Ursula von der Leyen stated that no European citizen will understand the support for Moscow that enhances the Russian ability to continue the hostilities. This will seriously damage the Chinese reputation in Europe, she threatened, and reminded that the European companies are watching how the countries position themselves in relation to the Ukrainian conflict. She added that China must lift the trade measures against Lithuania, lift the sanctions against the MAPs, and address the global human rights issues, especially in Xinjiang, and to improve the access and the working conditions for the EU companies in the Chinese market. The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi pointed out that the Russian-Chinese trade contributes to the world economy. He added that China isn't a party in the crisis in Ukraine. We do not think that the sanctions should affect our normal trade with any country. End of quote. We oppose the sanctions. Their effects could spread to the rest of the world, leading to wars of currency, trade wars, and financial wars. It is a threat to the supply chains, industry, and the globalization and even the economic order, the Chinese diplomat added. Wang Yi added that the summit didn't reach an agreement on the trade deal between China and the EU, namely the deal concluded at the end of 2020, which was the hope for the improvement of the relations. The deal was frozen almost right away. The situation hasn't been improved due to the imposition by the EU back in March of 2021, for the first time in 30 years, several anti-Chinese sanctions, supposedly for the violation of the human rights. China responded with counter-sanctions against the EU. The ball is in Brussels' side, Wang Yi stated, and added that the Europeans must lift their sanctions first and then China may consider lifting their counter-sanctions. Despite several controversial points, Wang Yi described the negotiations with the EU as very honest and open. He added that the parties must work together to prevent the climate change, and the issues related to Iran and Ukraine should be resolved with cooperation, not mutual claims. The Anna News is following the events. Stay tuned.